Hey folks, Tim Kiefer here from MIBT, where we make sense of the weird stuff that happens on a football field when nobody else wants to touch it. Today we're breaking down one of those head-scratching moments, when a player steps out of bounds and then, like a kid trying to sneak back into the house past curfew, tries to jump into the action. Can they? Should they? And will anyone notice? Spoiler alert, the rule book noticed, and so did we. Let's get into it.
During any play, no offensive player or kicking team player shall go out of bounds and return to participate during the down unless they're forced out by an opponent and they return immediately. No defender or receiver shall go out of bounds intentionally and return to participate during the down. In this play, the quarterback rolls right, throws the ball to receiver number 16. The play's broken up by number 32 of the defense, who was out of bounds and returned to make the play. Is there a difference between intentionally and accidentally going out of bounds?
Well, it's important to note how we said earlier about if you're team A, if you're the offensive team, you can't step out of bounds, whether it's intentional or unintentional, unless you're forced, and then you got to come back right away. So if you accidentally step on the sideline and then return, this is technically an illegal participation foul because you weren't allowed to go out of bounds at any point in the down and come back and play, whether you did it on purpose or not. But the defense is not as restrictive. So if the defense accidentally steps out of bounds, like in this particular play, and he comes in and makes a play, we're not going to rule him for being intentionally out of bounds. We're going to say that he was inadvertently out of bounds. Now, if a defender, in your opinion, truly does gain an advantage by going out of bounds and coming back, then that's a different story. Then we're going to have an illegal participation. But if you look at this particular play, that's not what happens. He just doesn't know where he's at. He steps on the sidelines, and then he makes the play.
So again, the key point here being is you foul for coming back in when you're not allowed to come back. When you step out, whether you're the offense, accidental or intentional, you're on your own. The defense, you've done it intentionally. You stepped out and you come back in. So it's just the mere act of coming back in and participating. It's not because you threw a block. It's not because you touched the pass. It's because you came back in bounds.
Correct. Once you go out of bounds and you fall with whatever category you fall into, you cannot participate in the down, and coming back on the field is participation. Like I said, in this play, it's accidental. He comes back in and makes the play. But we should be able to recognize this as a crew. Now, mechanically, it should be a bag for somebody going out and then a flag when they come back in. Or maybe a hat if somebody goes out and then a flag when they come back in. If it's an offensive player and it's done intentionally or unintentionally. And if it's a defensive player, if it's done intentionally.
The key thing about a bag or a hat is that's saying I saw, and I can tell you why this player went out of bounds. When you're the official who throws that beanbag or hat, you're really saying, I'll tell you how he got there. I'll tell you why he got there. So that's an important thing there. You throw that because you know how and why he went out of bounds.
Well, and that's important because you see the call, you make the call. You're not guessing on this one. You're dropping that bag or flag or hat in whatever happens in whichever order, depending on what you're going to do, because you saw what happened. Now, in high school, they haven't put the hat in as a mechanic because, heck, in high school, we don't make that much. We don't want to get our hat stepped on and then have to go buy a new hat. So they've taken the hat out of it. But, hey, if that's how you want to do it and it's a proven mechanic and it's okay with your state association or local association, do it. But if you got to buy a new hat, that's on you.
I'm going to devil's advocate one more thing with it. I didn't see how you got out of bounds, but I saw you out of bounds and come back in. Should I throw a hat or a beanbag? But I can't say how you got out there?
No, I wouldn't say that because if you're not going to throw a flag unless you know that was done intentionally or even if it was done inadvertently by the offense, if you've got a force out situation, but you don't know, you're not 100% sure, you're going to rule a force out and that they returned immediately. We're not going to guess on that and call an illegal participation if there was any question that maybe that offensive player or even defensive player was forced out and now they're trying to come back to return to the play.
And just like that, another officiating mystery is solved. If your brain isn't full yet, hit those buttons that you've probably ignored in other videos and head over to MIBT.org for a stockpile of officiating wisdom you didn't even know you needed. See you next time, unless you step out of bounds and disappear forever. Most importantly, though, make it be there.